Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to be creating client testimonial section with three cards wherein we have some text, client images, and then their name and their designation. So as you can see, this also has a bit of 3D or neomorphism look because we're going to be doing that using box shadow in CSS. So without further ado, let's start the video. Here in my VS Code, I have two files open. One is index.html and the other one is style.css. Now, I have already linked my style.css file and I've also added the CDN for the font awesome icon since we're going to be using that for the left quotation icon that you see. So inside the body, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add the header which says client testimonial. So this is going to be h3, and then we're going to create a container div within which we're going to have our three cards. Now for each individual card, we're going to have some card text. So we're going to wrap it in a div with the name of card text class. And then we're going to have a card details wherein we're going to have an image for the client image and then one for the designation wherein we're going to also add their name and their job. Now we have the basics covered and ready, but we need to fill in with some data. So we're going to do that first by adding the text, and then we're going to add three different images, and then we're going to add names and their job. Now when I save, you can see that this is the basic structure wherein we have three different images, some text, and their designation and their name. Now our HTML is done. Let's style it using CSS. For CSS, I have imported the Poppins Google font link, and then I've set the default margin and padding to 0 and added box sizing as border box. Now within the body, we're going to give it the font family as Poppins, and then we're going to set its width and height to 100 viewport width and 100 viewport height so that it takes the entire width and height of the screen. And then we're going to add display flex and add a flex direction as column, and then we're going to add justify content center and align items as center. Now when I save, you can see that everything is aligned at the center. Now we don't actually want the color of the background to be completely white, so we're going to be using a bit darker shade of white. And when I save, you can see that now the background is a bit dark white. Now we're going to style the image because the image look really huge. So we're going to set its width and height to 50 pixels and then add border radius to 50%. And I save, you can see that this is how they look. Now this image is a bit stretched, and same for this one. So what we can do is we can add object fit to cover. Now this is going to take entire width and height of the image, so this looks pretty well. Now we also want to add a border and a margin right, and I save, we're done. Next we're going to target the h3. We're going to give it margin bottom, margin right as auto so that it is left aligned, and then we also would add a bit of margin on the left which is 110 pixels. Now when I save, you can see this is how it looks. Now we're going to target the container. We're going to give it max width, and then we're going to add display flex and add a gap of 20 pixels, padding inline, that is left and right to 100 pixels, and when I save, this is how they look. Now our card is already taking structure, so what we're going to do next is we're going to directly style our card, give it max width of 50%, add display flex and flex direction as column, and then we're going to add panning of 20 pixels, and then we're going to start our box shadow. Now for the box shadow, right and bottom, we're going to set 5 pixel each, and then 10 pixels of spread, and then we're going to have this as its color. Now when I save, you can see that the right and bottom have this white shadow. Now we also want shadow on the top and left, so we're going to add minus 5 pixel for the top, for the left, and minus 5 pixel for the top, and then 10 pixels of spread, and then we're going to add a darker shade for that since we're assuming that light is coming from this direction, so the top and left should be darker. Now we're going to add border radius of 10 pixel so that the edges are a bit rounded. And then we're going to change the color. Instead of black, we're going to have 0.8 alpha value, and we're done. Now we're going to add the card before pseudo selector, and then we're going to add the left quotation font awesome icon. We're going to set the font family as font awesome, font size as 50 pixels, top 0, opacity 0.2. Now you don't really need to add this top 0. Now I was planning on using it absolutely, like I wanted to place absolutely just behind the text, but later on I changed my mind because I thought this was looking like better than what it would have looked by using absolutely. So you can remove this top 0. Now with this looks something like this. Now the fonts are pretty big, so what we can do is we can change the font size of card text to 12 pixels and then add a bit of margin bottom of 10 pixels. Now with this looks something like this. Now for the card details, we're going to add display flex, align items to center, and then we're going to add the designation name and designation job. We're going to change the font size to 10 pixels and 12 pixels each. Now when I save, you can see that both name and their job is changed. The font size are different. Now the only thing that we're going to do here is add font weight of 500 to the job, and when I save, you can see that now the job is a bit the font weight is a bit higher. So with this, we have created our client testimonial cards using HTML and CSS. Now the source code for this would be down in the description. Make sure to check and download. Now if you guys are new to the channel and if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell so that you guys get notified whenever I upload a video.